Hello and welcome to a special episode of Profiles in Risk. This is your host Tony Cañas, and pitching the second in a double hitter today on limited sleep. And you can hear in my voice that I was at a conference or two conferences this week. So today I have with me Amelia Fitch and Jennifer Chase from the Society of Insurance Research (SIR). So first of all, thank you for joining me. How are you guys today?
Great. Happy to
Yeah,
be
thanks so
here.
much. Yeah,
Awesome. And we're
I'm good.
recording 4 p.m. on Friday, so I'm hoping I'm your last meeting.
Yeah.
Um,
We
eh,
saved the best for last
The
today.
grand finale.
perfect. Thank you very much. So, for the listeners, this special episode, we are talking about SIR and especially about their upcoming SIR 2025 annual meeting, which is coming up May 4th through 6th in Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
Uh, Curiosity at the core, sparking innovation in insurance research. All right. So I am a nerd about insurance. I have been to, I thought, just about every insurance conference. I have never made it to RIMS. I have never made it to WSIA, and I have never made it to target markets. Other than that, I've done just about everything else. And I was not aware of SIR, which is exactly why I wanted you guys on the podcast. So yeah, let's start there. What is SIR?
Oh, what SIR is an amazing group. It's a relatively small group of folks, but it is written in our Constitution that our purpose is to build the profession of insurance research as one of honor in its own right. So we exist at the cornerstone of insurance and research. And there's a lot of kinds of research in the world. I like to talk about big R research and little r research. So, big R research is you have research in your title. You're a researcher. That is what you do all day long. Little r research is the kind of research that we all do. You're looking up something, you're trying to get background information, you're trying to learn more. We all do research, but it's a question of to what degree and how much you do that throughout your day and how honed your skills are. So the Society of Insurance Research exists to build that, as I said, as a profession, as one of honor in its own right. And it does that by fostering the exchange of ideas among the society's members and by sponsoring, conducting, or participating in research and educational activities that have broad interest for the industry and for SIR. We have an annual conference, as we mentioned, that we really want to talk about. We also have numerous activities that are held virtually throughout the year for our members. We have the head librarian, the head of SIPR, the Society for Insurance Policy Research at the NAIC, who heads up our educational committee. And she oftentimes will have journal clubs, which we can think of those as kind of like a book club, but with a journal article. A lot of times she'll get the author of the journal to come and visit. And those are open for SIR members. You can attend, talk, discuss that, bring up big ideas, hone those big ideas, talk through them. It's just a really great place for networking and sharing ideas and discussing them.
All right. So I must say I always thought of the CPC Society as, and because it's where I grew up,
Yeah.
as kind of the nerds of the industry, and I say that with much love and really positive uh a meaning of the word nerds. But I'm starting to think that you guys out nerd us, and for the right people, that is a good thing. Uh,
I'm going to take that as a compliment,
yes,
Tony.
that is very much a compliment.
We do
Um,
fondly call ourselves nerds. We have referred to ourselves that way before. So
Perfect. That is very much a compliment. Okay. So 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 the conference basically attracts how many people normally?
we're usually over 200.
Okay.
Last year we had a record-setting year in Boston. We were at 219, I believe.
Okay. So it's fair to say that this year in Chicago, basically it should attract 200 plus
Mhm.
people who are passionate about research within the insurance world, whether
Mhm.
their job is full on doing research or whether they just really love the research piece of their job.
You got
Yes.
it exactly.
Okay. So what kind of speakers, what kind of activities will we find in the conference?
Yeah, sure. So we've learned over the last few years, we really lean into the local city that we're in and try to bring some of that flavor through, which
Okay.
is so on Sunday we'll be having an opening reception at Competiscan, which is one of our sponsors. And we'll get to go on the rooftop, see the Chicago River from there, see what their workplace is. So that's kind of how we're kicking things off. But then, continuing with that local theme, we'll be having an executive panel that kicks off the conference with insurance executives from Chicago. Just there to represent their company, talk about industry trends, emerging risks, and then most importantly, how important research and data is and how they make their decisions. So it's given a really nice local flair to the start. And then as we get into the weeds of the conference, the details, all the good stuff, we cover all lines of business. So the most important factor is that you're a researcher, whether that's with a big R or a little r. But then we attract people from health, life, personal, and commercial P&C. So you will find sessions and speakers from all those lines of business, all levels of speakers, from executives that we kicked off with to practitioners sharing their best insights. I'm really excited we have the chief data officer from Vitality coming to share their Vitality Rewards program and some of the behavioral science and IoT technologies they use, which I'm a commercial carrier in my day job, but I find that fascinating. We use IT in our jobs. We're all trying to figure out how people make decisions, whether they're business owners or consumers. So that's one of my favorites. Yeah, lots of other great content there too. That's just kind of the high level.
Hey, and it sounds like you cater to both number nerds and humanities nerds, so the English majors
Yeah,
You
I
got
am
it.
an English major.
that deal with not shocking that deal with policy language and that kind of
Yeah,
stuff
Yeah.
that is also crucially important in our industry.
yeah.
That's
I'd say go ahead, Amelia. Yeah,
Oh, I was just going to say that's absolutely true. Some of the branches of research that we have range from the more quantitative. We have primary researchers. We have folks who are looking at data science, those types of things, and we also have folks who are doing market intelligence and competitive intelligence. And a lot of that is based on one-on-one interactions or secondary research. So that would fall more into the humanities nerds that you mentioned. I think Jennifer and I are both probably fit in that category a little more comfortably. So,
Okay.
mhm.
What about the product people? Do you tend to
Yeah.
attract a good number of
yes.
product
Oh yeah.
people?
Oh
Hmm.
yeah. We do have a good decent contingent of product folks, underwriting, some actuaries. Of course, actuaries have their own groups with SOA and CAS, but we do
Hmm.
have some from there. We've done some cross promotion where folks from SOA and CAS have come and presented at SIR in the past. So that's been really good just to share and kind of layer those insights in. I think the more perspectives you have with research, the richer it becomes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool about product people because I've never known which conference to tell them to go to. So that's very
Mhm.
very good to know. Um, okay, and when it comes to underwriters, do they tend to be staff underwriters? Basically the underwriters that don't have their own book, but that help establish the rules, or does it also attract actual desk underwriters who have their own book of business?
I think we get a little bit of both,
Okay.
honestly. We don't have a massive contingent of underwriters, but for those that do come that have found us, they found it useful. So it's a smattering of both, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. And most conferences kind of have So, for example, CPCU, because it is the celebration
Mhm.
of people finishing the CPCU, something like 80% of the people are first time at the conference, and then the other 20% are what I lovingly call the lifers. And I myself, I'm one of the younger lifers, but still a lifer. Uh, and then we have the leadership summit, which is a small conference, and that one is all lifers basically. That one
Mhm.
is just the people that are always there. So I'm curious. Um, is it like 80% the same people every year? And what is it like for the new people?
Let me share a little bit about the culture of what you term the
Perfect.
lifers. And the Jennifer, if you want to talk a little bit about some of the functions that we have at the annual conference for the newer folks. So for S within SIR, we often describe it as a family, and it definitely has a family vibe. We are very close. I have some incredibly good friends. I've been with SIR since about 2007, 2008. We have a lot of kind of fun little traditions. I even pulled out this one of the things that we do with our volunteers. We're a totally volunteer run and led organization. And one of the fun little things we do, we have an SIR coin that we give out to volunteers. And it looks like this. It says connect, learn, and grow on it. And it's a coin. And you bring it with you to the annual conference or to the function. And if somebody challenges and says, hey, do you all have your SIR coin? Whoever doesn't have it has to buy drinks. So that's a fun little thing that we do. But I think as far as speaking to the broader culture, it's not just the annual conference. So we have so many opportunities to contribute and interact throughout the year. I mentioned the journal clubs. We have roundtables by line of business. We have webinars. We have a variety of different activities. And a lot of the work is done on committees, kind of like the CPCU Society that you mentioned. But it's a much smaller group. So we see one another a lot more. It's a lot of similar faces. Now, that's not to say we don't have a lot of new folks. And we do get a lot of new folks through the annual conference. Jennifer, do you want to talk about how we treat new folks at the annual conference?
Yeah, sure. So we kicked off a new idea in Boston last year for the first time, and we traditionally had a first time breakfast.
Good.
But we found, you're stuck at tables. It's hard to really get out to everybody, and everybody's tired. It's early in the morning. So we've started doing a first time mixer, which we have on Sunday afternoon. So as people are coming and checking into the conference and getting there, we'll have them in a special area just so they can network, meet other people. It's a nice way for them to network before the conference actually starts, so they see familiar faces when they go to that session on the first day. But then we also have the board and the annual conference committee there as well to talk all things SIR. So kind of an SIR 101 to make sure that they know everything about the society, what we can do for them, what they can get out of the conference, and all that stuff.
All right, fantastic. So important. Because extroverts like myself, no worries, right? Like I make myself at home very quickly at every conference I go to. But plenty of people struggle with being the new person. So knowing that there's a well designed structure to onboard you into into the culture of the group.
We work really hard at that because I mean it's insurance research. As you can imagine, we get a
Also the
lot of
introverts,
introverts, a lot of
Of
introverts.
course.
So one
of
of the
course.
things that's important is saying, come, you belong here, you're welcome. How can we help you? What questions do you have? All of those types of things, whether it's at the annual conference or even at a webinar, any of the events throughout the year. We are
Okay.
really intentional about trying to make sure folks know they're seen and they have a space.
Okay. So would it be fair to say, so any listeners, if you are an insurance professional, regardless of which function within insurance,
Mhm.
and you love to nerd out into the deep details, you
Oh,
love
I
policy
love
language, you love the numbers, either of those two sides, you're you're tempted to go to product, but there's no entry level role in product. You're the one that your team goes to when they have deep questions about what we do.
Mhm.
Kind of the team nerd, again in very positive meaning.
Yeah.
It sounds like this very much could be your tribe. You should at least check it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you mentioned entry level or something like that.
Yeah,
One of the things that I do want to mention really quickly is that we do offer for undergraduate students, we offer memberships at no charge.
fantastic. Okay, so do they have to be a risk management and insurance student, or what?
They don't have to be. No.
Okay,
No. Obviously we love that, but no, they don't have to because we recognize that people come into insurance from all kinds of different majors. Yes.
correct. Yes. We do have data that about 10 to 15% of people that we hire in any given year are my majors. So the other
Mhm.
85 to 90 are not. And then my observation of the other 90% is about half are business majors and about half are the island of misfit toys. Right. We have the history, English, et cetera. In fact, one of my favorite lines when I'm chatting with somebody that had one of those non pre-professional majors, I tell them, do you know what we call English majors or psychology or whatever major they were, right? Do you know what we call philosophy majors in insurance? Pre-insurance, because we have tons and tons and tons of
Fantastic.
so okay, awesome. Um, anything else that's important to know about the conference for anybody that's this sounds like a really fun time to them? What else
Yeah,
should
I
I'd,
think, go ahead, Jennifer.
I'd like to just share a few pieces of feedback I've gotten over the years. So I've
Sure.
been the annual conference chair for 2 years. And one of my favorite compliments I've gotten is, I go to all these conferences. I've gone to some of the larger ones. I've gone to small ones. What they've loved about going to SIR is they walk away with tactical things to do when they get back to their desks. They walk away with substance. And, before I was involved in SIR, that's how I judged conferences as well. I loved it when I could write in my little notebook, put a little asterisk and say, when you get back, do this or look into this. And I just think that's so telling of SIR and what the conferences are like and the type of speakers that we recruit. I focus very hard on recruiting people that are going to actually give you something that you can take away, whether it's a thought, a data set, a source, any of those things, an idea for a business model. All of those things are the things we're discussing. And I think that's the true value of SIR. The other thing I've heard from one of our committee members, actually, she joined me 2 years ago, and she says that SIR connects her with all of the other unicorns. So unicorn meeting, we all work in insurance and we all do research. So, whether you're in health, life, commercial, personal, we all have the same skill sets. We all work with the same data sets, and you can really learn from other people, whether they're working directly in competition with you or not. So it's a really great fraternity, sorority, whatever you want to call it. It's a great bringing together of like-minded nerds, to use your word.
Yeah.
Fa-
And if
fa-
you just want to
Fantastic.
learn a little bit more about us, you can find us at sirnet.org. Mhm.
I will include the
Thank you.
links in the show note to both of your LinkedIn's and
Perfect.
to the SIR website. Thanks so much for your time today.
Yeah.
It sounds like the right conference. It sounds like a really fun conference for the right type of people, and it's it's people that many of the other conferences that I go to might not be just the right fit. It
Hmm.
actually it reminds me a lot of SITE, the Society of Insurance
Yeah.
Trainers and Educators, right?
Yeah.
Not a huge group,
Yeah.
but if you are into training within insurance, or if you want to work in training in insurance, it is your tribe. You should definitely be there. So this sounds very similar to that, and so yeah, very Very, very exciting for the right type of person. So for the listener, if you made it to the end, chances are you made it to the end of the episode because this sounds fun. Check it out. So thank you both for your time today.
Yeah, thanks,
Thanks,
Emma.
Tony.